Well, this is weird. Scientists did alter perception using lasers in the brain and have figured out what exactly gives us illusions. So we're all kind of familiar with optical illusions. If you look at certain pictures, you start to see things that aren't there. Did you know that some researchers actually studied the dress? This is the Canisa triangle. If you are a human and you look at it, you'll start to see a triangle that isn't actually there thanks to our little Pac-Man friends. This happens because your perception of reality is based on your ability to perceive reality. So nobody is actually seeing what's in front of them. They're seeing a filtered version that's based on predictions that your brain allows you to see. If you had to perceive things in real time, there would be a significant delay as your brain tried to figure out what it is looking at. You'll see this phenomenon when you see something that perhaps you're not familiar with, and it takes your brain a good minute to figure out what the heck is in front of it. This is designed to keep you functional, able to perceive new information, and it's based on experiences you already had. So some researchers figured out that mice are also susceptible to optical illusions and even figured out the part of the brain that's involved with it, which is a major leap forward to understanding how our brains work. Much like we have specific kinds of neurons, we also have specific kinds that are associated with illusions. More interestingly, you can actually induce these patterns in mice. If a mouse is seeing an optical illusion, you can look at the part of the brain that's active, the neurons that are active. And then if you stimulate them using a laser, you'll actually confuse them and they think they'll be looking at the illusion even though it's not actually in front of them, which is an interesting area of science in which we are altering perception based on neural activity. And it bugs me because it gives me existential dread. But what of AI? Well, if you ask an AI to look at a phenomenon, it's likely to give you the literal response because it actually is going through the process of figuring out what exactly is in front of it. But if you train an AI to act like our own brains and give them sufficient amount of information, they're also going to be modeling what they should be seeing. In other words, if you give an AI enough experiences, it'll start to see the same optical illusions that we do because it's expecting something to be a certain way and then it's not. You'll see this phenomenon in miniature if you ever engage with generative AI. If you're using something like OpenAI, it's built a model of how you are supposed to behave. I found the interesting phenomenon that if I start attempting to behave, it gets really suspicious of me because I'm not behaving how I should be behaving. At the same time, naive AI is already built on millions of people's behaviors and different archetypes and what different behaviors mean. So go ahead and get really frustrated with your AI and then ask it how it knows that you are frustrated. This is how some AIs are really good at parsing subtext. What is this person actually doing? What do they actually want? And they're getting more difficult to lie to because they are basing their perceptions on what should be. Now, I know we are constantly moving the goalpost, like theory of mind is the thing that makes somebody conscious. Theory of mind being your understanding that somebody else has an internal world, but you can program an AI to understand somebody else's internal world by modeling them, which is not too dissimilar to what we do. At what point do we actually create intelligence and not just artificial intelligence? Because yes, you could say that AI is just a well-dressed parrot, and you'd probably be right, but what is the goal in which we get to the point where we could actually call it intelligence? Also, I just wanted to show you guys this because it bugs me. Most people, around 60%, saw white gold, which is incorrect, and then some people switched. I used to see white and gold, but then as soon as I realized it was actually blue, I could never go back to seeing it as white because my brain knows what's actually there. How are most people wrong? If you have any comments on this, let me know. Did you know somebody also got a tattoo of the dress in addition to, an actual scientific study on it? I linked all the studies I talk about in the description.